This is a reminder Class Connect sessions are recorded and distributed for learning purposes that are listed here. As always, be respectful, appropriate, and participate, but please don't share personal information such as contact info or social media info during the class for your own security reasons. Here we go. We should have the February 4th attendance ticket open. I have 15 green checks and 35 of you, so I'm still waiting on about 20 green checks. Let me know if you're having any issues opening it up. You can always give me a red X. Let me know if there's any problems. Make sure you have the password written down somewhere. We have run into issues where students have been kicked out of quizzes and then they can't get back in because they can't remember the password. So I recommend always write down the password somewhere with the date. So February 4th, write down the password so that you have it in case anything happens after class is already over. Okay? Awesome. I see lots more green checks. Thank you. So we are in day 5 of quarter number 3, also known as week number 2. This week we are going to jump into our unit 2 after today, right? So you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are all about unit 2, which are the laws of motion. So the need for speed, as some of you said before class started. Today, though, we are working on the Unit 1 game day, so we're going to be playing a Kahoot game. Give me a smiley face if you've ever played Kahoot in a class before. It's lots of fun. Hopefully we enjoy it. If you haven't, you're going to definitely have a good time. It's pretty awesome. Andrea, you're funny. And if for some reason in the future you ever do miss one of our Kahoot games, which you shouldn't because Kahoot is a really fun way to participate as well as get credit super easily. So definitely come to game days, do the Kahoots. But if you do ever miss a Kahoot game, I do have an alternative assignment that you need to do. So I'll explain that a little bit later. But the alternative assignment is not nearly as fun. So make sure you come to game days. Okay, so first things first, I do want to give you some announcements. So your labs have, no worries, Israel. Your labs have been officially graded. Give me a thumbs up if you were able to see those grades. I do have a few comments about that. So here we go. Here we go. So if you want to see specifically the questions that you did not do well on, or if you want to see which ones you did do well on, there's a really easy way to do that. You go through the progress tab. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can actually look at all of your old attempts for anything you've ever done underneath the progress tab. Did you guys know that? Yeah, you can absolutely. You can always retake anything. You have up to 5 attempts. Doesn't matter what grade you get on it, you can always retake it if you want a higher grade. Okay, so did you guys know that you can look at all of your old stuff under the progress tab? Tell me in the chat box, did we know? Okay, cool. Well, if you didn't know that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works. So the first thing that you do is, okay, no worries, Israel. I am going to go over that because that's one of our common mistakes was for question number 2. Some of you did not give me the shareable link. So what you're going to do is to look at your old attempt, you can go underneath the progress tab. You'll see a little menu on the left and you're going to choose quizzes. You're going to find the quiz, which in this case it's a lab report. So you're going to find the assignment that you want. And underneath that assignment, there's a little thing that says details. And if you click on details, it actually shows you all of your attempts that you've completed. And you can click on those attempts and you can actually see the grades that you got on every question. Smiley face if that makes sense. I'm going to actually show you picture instructions in just a moment. So if you're a visual learner, I got you. Don't worry. But go ahead, let me know if that's starting to make sense. Cool. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. So first things first, if you want to look at an old attempt, again, you look at the progress tab. So click on that. All right. The only reason I'm not showing you this live is because I would have to be logged in as a student and I don't have a student account. So I'm showing you pictures instead. So you click on the progress tab. On the left side, you're going to see where it says quizzes. Now, everything in my class is in a quiz format. So even though it's a lab report, you'll see there's no option for lab report. So it's actually under quizzes. Okay, so you click on quizzes and from there, it's going to show you all of your assignments that you've done so far. So the survey, the 1A, the 1B, the 1C. And if you want to see your old attempt, all you do is click on the details underneath the 1C lab. And that's going to pop up all of your attempts. So if you have 1 attempt, 2 attempts, whatever, you can click on that attempt and then that will show you exactly what you got right, wrong, what you did, all of your answers on your attempt. Okay, so for example, you can see when I clicked on it, I can see this person's answers that they gave for question number 1, and I can see how many points they got. So this person got 2 out of 2 points. Give me a thumbs up if that makes a little bit more sense, how we get to our old labs so that we can see exactly what we got right, wrong, Perfect. Now, that being said, guys, there were some common mistakes. So I'm going to actually go back to this one right here. Okay, there were some common mistakes I do want to screen share with you really quickly how to fix. So the first thing is you do need to give me for question 2 where you actually entered your data into that spreadsheet and it created the graph. Smiley faces, you guys know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you've done the lab or at least taken a look at it at this point. So for number 2, you do need to give me the shareable link, not the URL at the top of the course page or at the top of the browser. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. Let me go to here, Sheets. I'm going to share this with you on the whiteboard in just a moment. I think I just shared a calculator with you. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. All right, looking good. Okay, smiley faces, if you can see my screen up here. Okay, awesome. So you'll notice, guys, that there is a link here up at the top, right? But this is not the link that I want in order to grade it because this is your personal link. So if you give me your personal link, I can't see it and therefore I can't grade it and therefore you get a 0. So if you notice that you did this part, but on question number 2, when you look at your old attempt, it gives you a 0, the biggest issue is probably because you gave me this URL and not the correct shareable link. Okay, so don't give me this URL. It's an easy fix. So if you're someone that did that, it's super easy. All you need to do is email me the correct shareable link. And the way that you get the correct shareable link is you click on share. Okay, and then you click where it says get shareable link. Get shareable link. And then you can copy that link. It says here, right here, copy that link, and then you can email that to me. Okay, so super easy fix. You don't need to resubmit the lab. If you notice that the only question you really got wrong was question number 2 because of this part right here, it's a super easy fix. Just email it to me. Okay, any questions about that? Let me know in the chat box. Do we have any questions? Are we good? Let me know. Again, it's share. Dorian, I think you mentioned that to me. I don't know if you actually... Did you actually email it to me? Let me see. Okay, Dorian, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. But go ahead and email me if I don't get back to you, just because it's hard for me to remember what were like things that I need to do if we're in class right now. Okay, sound good, Dorian? So you can email me. Yeah, so you copy this link right here. You copy this link right here, and you just paste it into number 2 of your lab. So that's the answer to number 2. Okay. Tariq, that probably just means that a couple of your data points were super far off from where they should have been. So it's not a big deal, but if you want to, you can try to redo it. And again, you can email me your corrections and I can go ahead and give you full credit on that. Okay, so I'll explain that to you guys in a few moments. But the other mistake that a lot of us made were question number 3, which is your conclusion. Do you guys remember Ireland? I just went over it. So progress, quizzes, details, attempt number. Click on the attempt number, okay? All right, yeah, if you want to, maybe take a picture of these instructions, that might help. Okay, for question number 3, one of the biggest issues was the golf ball. I had a paragraph all set up for you to fill out and show me what your conclusion is. And then in the video, I said, make sure that your rubber ball and clay ball have the same formatted paragraph. Okay, so I said that verbally, but you didn't actually see it in there, right? I just had the sentence, the very beginning of the sentence starter. So what needs to happen is if you notice that you got like 1.3 out of 4 on question number 3, that means that it's because you only did the paragraph for the golf ball and you didn't actually do the paragraph for the rubber ball and clay ball. Smiley faces if that makes sense. Okay, so that means that you might have missed those 2 paragraphs, okay? So same thing, if you made that mistake, you can just email me the correction. You don't have to submit the entire lab over again. Just email me the correction with the rubber ball and clay ball paragraphs and I can give you full credit that way, okay? So really, anytime you have mistakes on your lab and you want to fix them, the easiest way is if there's only a few mistakes, just email it to me, okay? If you notice that your entire lab is incorrect, then you should definitely do a new attempt. But I don't want to have to make you do all that work again if it's not necessary. Okay, so if it's just a small mistake, go ahead and email the correction and we will be golden. Okay, last time, go ahead, give me a green check if that makes sense, red X if you're confused about any of that. And again, if you have any specific questions about something that you got wrong, like you got partial credit on it, like I said with Tariq, maybe you had a couple of your data points that were just a little bit too far off, you can definitely email me and I can definitely let you know more specifics. Okay? I am working on figuring out a way to give you feedback on those in a way that it transfers over to your gradebook, but currently the online high school doesn't have a way to do that, which is super silly. So I'm going to be talking to IT about how to do that. Okay? Awesome, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump over into our game today. Here we go. Okay, so we've been talking about Unit 1, right? We talked about the relationship between matter and energy, and then we talked about the scientific methods, and we actually demonstrated these through a lab that we did on Friday. Oh, one other thing, if you want some more support, again, come to support session, and I can absolutely help you with the lab then as well. My only request is that you actually watch the 1C recording beforehand, the recording that has all the instructions. That way we're kind of on the same level of what you've already done, and I'm not trying to teach you from scratch, because from scratch can take a really long time. So please watch the recording first, and then if you still have questions, come and get help through the support session. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, everyone. We're going to go ahead and play Kahoot today. It's a super fun game. It's a way for you to kind of see where you're at in terms of reviewing the content. And if you're a competitive kind of spirit, which I noticed some of you in our question that we asked before class started, are definitely a little competitive. It's a lot of fun, right? So you can compete a little bit with your classmates. Now, the way that you do this is you go to the website kahoot.it. This is the website. This is the URL, is kahoot.it. You can either go on a phone browser or on a computer browser. All right, smiley faces if that part makes sense so far. So kahoot.it, either on a phone browser or a computer browser. There is actually also an app, so if for future games you want to download the app and do it that way, that's fine, but that might take a little bit of time right now, so I would recommend waiting until a future game, okay? Now, when you go to kahoot.it, it's going to ask for a game pin, which I will be giving to you in a moment, so just wait, all right? I will give that to you in a moment after my instructions, and then it's going to ask you to push the 4 buttons in a correct order that it shows. So you'll see that in a few moments, but it'll maybe say push the red, blue, yellow, green buttons in that order, okay? Then it's going to ask you for your name, okay? Please make sure that you put your first name and the initial of your last name. Do not put your full initial, because this is being recorded, and I don't want any full names on the recording. So just your first name and the initial of your last name. So don't put anything inappropriate, because obviously you won't be able to play, and then if I figure out who it is and everything, you'll be disciplined, and it's no fun, okay? Now, if you do have a preferred name that I already know because you told me that in your survey, that's fine, right? So use that first name and then your initial, or you can even put it in parentheses, right? If you want to put your preferred name in a parentheses, that's fine as well, okay? But if I don't know what your preferred name is because you didn't tell me in the survey, or I haven't been using it in class, then I'm not going to be able to give you credit. So make sure it's something that I should already know, okay? Now, here's the thing. You get a grade for today, okay? It's 10 points, just like a normal quiz, but you get 10 points as long as you participate in every question. You don't actually have to get every question right. Smiley faces if that makes sense. So for this game, it's totally fine if you don't know everything. It's totally fine if you make mistakes, because that's how we learn. We make mistakes, we figure out where we went wrong, we learn from it. Okay, so I don't care if you make mistakes. I want you to do your best, but if you make a mistake, I'm not going to punish you for that, because we're learning right now. Okay, so instead, just do your best. Make sure you participate in every question, and as long as I see that you've participated the entire time, you will get your 10 points for the quiz today. Okay? Now, if for some reason you don't like to compete and you don't like the points, because during the game that you get points and stuff, if you don't want to compete and be on that like points leaderboard thing, that's totally fine. I understand. Israel, I told you to hold on until I finish with the instructions, so just wait a moment. So if you don't like the competition aspect, or if for some reason Kahoot doesn't work for you because your computer or your phone's having issues, you can open a private chat with me by double clicking on my name. So you can see in the participants panel, you can see my name at the very top where it says Brittany Fiorello Larkin. You can double click on that and that'll open a private chat, and you can answer all your questions in the private chat, and then I will still give you credit for today as long as, again, you participate in every question. Okay, give me a green check if all of this makes sense. Red X if you're confused about anything. Green checks if we're good. Red X's if we're confused. Excellent. I know it's the first time, so I know first time it's always a little bit like, oh, what's going on? But we will get through it. It'll be lots of fun. Awesome, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Sorry, let me go ahead and go to our Kahoot. Here we go. Opening this up. Right, I'm going to turn off my video for now. All right, thumbs up if you can see my screen here. Thumbs up, awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and click play. I'm gonna give you the pin in a moment as this loads. All right, so answer streak, podium, randomize, two-step, yes. All right, order of question, good. All right, here we go. Misael, just hold on. That's literally what's going on the board right now. Just hold on. All right, everyone. So the pin is 147369. And then again, you do need to press the buttons in the pattern that's shown here. It does change every 7 seconds, just the pattern. The pin stays the same. But the pattern you do need to be a little bit quick about. This is just to make sure that nobody joins that isn't supposed to join. Okay, so blue, yellow, red, green, and then it will change. Green, yellow, blue, red. All right, enter the pin, click the buttons in the correct order. Again, the order does change, and then you should be able to enter your name. Again, first name and initial of your last name. Dorian, so you would put Dorian R. Okay, so first name and the initial of your last name. Just because I do have some people that have the same name as other people, so that's why I need that last initial. Just to make sure I know who you are. Yeah, so for Tony, for example, in the future, I would need you to put a V here so that I know who you are, because I have lots of Tonys in the class. Yeah, Hope, same thing. I have a couple Hopes, so I'm going to write these down, but in the future, please make sure that you put your last name. No worries. Okay, so the pattern is right here. You just need to press the buttons in the order that it shows. Okay, so for example, right now, red, blue, yellow, green. Press red, blue, yellow, then green. And now green, red, blue, yellow. Again, it does change every 7 seconds. Red, blue, green, yellow. Does that make sense, Shoshana Parker? Thank you. Awesome. I see Parker up there. Shoshana, are you? Oh, you're up there too. Cool. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 10 seconds. Looking good, looking good. Yeah, so Mel, in the future, again, just make sure you put your last initial. So I'll go ahead and write down your name really quickly. But in the future, just make sure you put your last initial. Okay, thank you. Looking good. All right, about 5 more seconds. The instructions will stay at the bottom here, so if you don't get joined right now, you can still join them as we go. But again, if you're not participating in the entire game, like it's okay if you miss a question or two, but if you don't participate in most of the game, then I won't be able to give you credit for today. All right? Looking good, everyone. Again, if you need a private chat, let me know. You can double click on my name and open that up. If you want to answer there, I can give you credit there, but you have to participate in one of 2 ways, either in the Kahoot or in the private chat. If you aren't participating in one of those ways, you won't get credit for this, and you'll have to do the alternative assignment later. Misael, I don't see you. Do I? Oh, no, I see your last name. Okay, yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine, Misael. Good. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. Again, instructions are at the bottom. Website, pin, pattern. All right, so attendance tickets are what percentage of your physical science grade? Red, 10, blue, 15, yellow, 5, green, 20. Nette, all right, I'm going to open up a private chat for you, and you can participate there. Okay, look at the bottom of your chat. You should see a new tab. That's the private chat. You can answer there. Just make sure you participate for everyone in that way. Okay? Looking good. All right, so yes, attendance tickets are 10% of your grade, 10% of your physical science grade. Okay, so let me go ahead. We're going to do a check for understanding in a few moments. So Tariq, Razi, Bradley, Ashton, Tony on the leaderboard. Does this make sense, guys? Let me go ahead and show this to you again. This is the breakdown of our course. So we have 10% attendance, 10% STAR, 15% exams, and quizzes 40, labs 25. All right, let me know if that makes sense. Dree, it's at the bottom here. Do you see the pattern right here? So right now it's yellow, green, blue, red. Yellow, green, blue, red. Now it's changed blue, green, red, yellow. Okay. Michaela, we are currently working on this game right now, so that's what we're focusing on. So I'll send you that link too, but we're currently focusing on the game. Cool. All right, guys. Let's go ahead. Keep on moving here. Which tab is the most important on the course page? So of these tabs, which ones do I tell you is the most important in my class? Go ahead, red plan, blue tools, yellow content, green grades. Andres, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and join our Kahoot game. Go to kahoot.it. Here's the pin, and here's the pattern of buttons that you need to push. Tariq, just try to participate in as many as you can. If you miss one or two, it's okay. But I know sometimes it can be a little bit slow, so don't worry. Looking good. Yes, the grades tab is actually the most important tab. Content tab is also pretty important, right? You can find a lot of your assignments and materials there, but the grades tab is actually the most important because it does show your grades as well as the links to everything that you need in the class, okay? So, Tariq, Yolese, Tony, Kobe, Andrea on the board. Josiah is the highest climber. Okay, Hope, go ahead and just answer in the chat box if you need to. I'll open up a private chat for you and just try to answer there, okay? All right, so most important tip, gradebook is the has your grades as well as links to everything. Let me know if that makes sense. Here you go, Andres. Looking good. All right, everyone. Let's see here. Grams is the unit for what fundamental quantity? Is it mass, red, blue distance, yellow time, or green temperature? Grams. What is grams the unit for? Red mass, blue distance, yellow time, or green temperature? All right, looking good. Yes, it's actually for mass. That is correct. Looks like most of you got that correct. Yes. Tariq, Tony, Colby, Andrea, Yolese on the board here. Okay, perfect. Yep, no problem, Hope. Thank you. All right, so degrees Celsius then is the unit for which fundamental quantity? Red mass, blue distance, yellow time, or green temperature? What is degrees Celsius the unit for? Looking good. Yes, it's definitely going to be temperature. Degrees Celsius is for temperature. Tariq, Colby, Andrea, Tony, Taylor on the board. Ethan is the highest climber. Let's make sure, does this make sense, everyone? So here are the fundamental quantities that we've learned. Distance is measured with meters, mass with grams, time with seconds, and temperature with degrees Celsius. Those are the 4 fundamental quantities and their units that we learned. Let me know if that makes sense. Perfect. All right, next question. What is the freezing point of water? Freezing point of water. 0 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So 0 degrees Celsius red, 100 degrees Celsius blue, 100 degrees Fahrenheit yellow, 0 degrees Fahrenheit green. What is the freezing point of water? Freezing point. Yes, it's going to be 0 degrees Celsius, right? We just learned that when we talk about temperature in science, we use Celsius, so neither of the Fahrenheits would be correct. And I think it's pretty obvious that the one with less temperature, 0, will be colder than the one with 100, right? So 0 degrees Celsius makes the most sense as the freezing point of water. Tariq, Colby, Andrea, Tony, Taylor on the board. 11 players on an answer streak. Does this make sense here? So 0 degrees Celsius is freezing and 100 degrees Celsius is boiling, right? So the Celsius scale is based on the freezing point and boiling point of water. Let me know if that makes sense. 8 seconds. Yes, it's starting to. Not quite yet. Let me know. Perfect. All right, so once more, just want to show this, right? So temperature is measured in degrees Celsius and degrees Celsius is based off of water. 0 is what we put for freezing, 100 is what we put for boiling, and everything in between is in between those numbers, right? Awesome. We don't use Fahrenheit in science because Fahrenheit doesn't make us this much sense. All right, looking good. Next one. Which of the following is a derived unit? Derived unit. Grams, cubic centimeters, seconds, or meters? Red grams, blue cubic centimeters, yellow seconds, or green meters? Which one is a derived unit? Think about another word for derived: secondary, indirect, unoriginal. Think about which of these is not like the others that we've already talked about. Yes, cubic centimeters is actually a derived unit. And the reason, everyone, is because think about the word centimeters. What does centimeters usually measure? Centimeters by itself measures what? Tell me in the chat box. Centimeters by itself measures what? Yeah, it measures distance, but volume is actually taking that distance and multiplying it 3 times by itself. So this is actually centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So it's derived because it's actually made from distances being multiplied by distances. Smiley faces if that makes a little bit more sense, what derived means. Okay, it means it's actually a combination of other types of measurements. It's not an original measurement. Awesome, looking good. Colby, Andrea, Tony, Yusra, Yolese on the board, and 5 players on an answer streak. Does this make sense? Let's check it out here. So, derived units are combinations, right? So, volume is actually a combination of length times length times length, which is where we get that centimeters cubed from. Okay, so it's actually made up of other units put together. Perfect. Let's see here. Hi, Dusty. Welcome to class. Go ahead. We are in our Kahoot game right now. You can go to kahoot.it, enter the game pin 147369, and then click the buttons in the pattern that's shown here. The pattern does change every few seconds, but as it changes, just click on those buttons and you can get logged in. Cool. All right, everyone. So let's see here. Ice is in what state of matter? Ice is in what state of matter? Gas, liquid, or solid? This one I hope is pretty easy. We can see some ice right here. What state of matter is that? Gas, liquid, or solid? 20 seconds. Get me your answers. 10 seconds. Oh, awesome. Yes, this is actually a solid, right? So in here, the liquid would just be the water that you would drink. The ice is the solid. Sorry, everyone. Can you hear me? My Wi-Fi stopped for a moment. All right. Looking good. So yes, ice is going to be the solid. Cool. All right. So next question. Colby, Andrea, Tony, Yolese, Rozzy on the board. 4 players on an answer streak. Does this make sense? Here we go. Right? Ice is solid, steam is gas, and then our liquid water would obviously be liquid. All right. So solid means it keeps its shape. Liquid, you can pour it. Steam, it moves away. Right? It becomes a gas and moves away. Perfect. What type of phase change is solid to liquid? When we go from solid to liquid, think about solid ice to liquid water. What kind of phase change would that be? Red, condensation, blue, evaporation, yellow, melting, or green, freezing? 10 seconds. Yes, this is actually going to be melting. When we go from solid to liquid, like ice to liquid water, that is actually melting. All right, Colby, Andrea, Tony, Yolese, Josiah on the board, and Martina on an answer streak. What type of phase change is liquid to solid? What's the opposite direction? Going from liquid water to solid ice, what would that be? Red freezing, blue evaporation, yellow condensation, green melting. Phase change, liquid to solid. 20 seconds, 10 seconds. Perfect. Yes, this is actually freezing. Think about liquid water. You put it into your fridge and it freezes into ice, solid ice. Colby, Andrea, Tony, Yolese, and Josiah on the board. 4 players on an answer streak. Does this make sense? Right, so matter can change based on when energy is added or taken away. Water freezes when energy is removed, and ice melts when energy is added. Yes, castaway, right, Andres? Looking good. 3 seconds. Perfect. All right, here we go. What is a hypothesis? Hypothesis. Red, what you change at the start of an experiment. Blue, using your 5 senses to gather information about the world. Yellow, a possible answer to a question you have. Or green, what you measure at the end of an experiment. What is a hypothesis? 15 seconds. 5 seconds. Oh no, Tariq! Looking good. Yes, it's actually a possible answer to a question that you have. Possible answer to a question that you have. Andrea, Tony, Colby, Yolese, Josiah on the board. 4 players on a 10-question answer streak. What does this make sense? Here we go. Right, so a hypothesis is an educated guess or a possible answer to our question. We usually write it in an if-then form. 10 seconds, let me know if that makes sense. Perfect, looking good. Andrea, Tony, Colby, Yolese, Josiah. Let's see if we can catch up to them. What is an independent variable? Independent variable. What you change at the start, what you measure at the end, possible answer to a question, or 5 senses to gather information. What is the independent variable? 10 seconds. Perfect. Yes, it's what you change at the start of the experiment. Remember, independent, we think of this idea that we can choose what we want to do. So independent means we choose what we want to change. Smiley faces if that makes sense. Smiley faces if that makes sense. We choose what we want to change. Colby, Andrea, Tony, Olese, and Josiah on the board. Rozzy making a comeback. Does this make sense? Here we go. Right, independent, what we intentionally change. Dependent, what we measure at the end. Right, those were the two types of variables we talked about. Independence, what we start with. Dependence, what we end with. The dependent depends on the independent. Looking good. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and actually skip our next few ones just because I want us to go ahead and wrap up and get you your last word. So let me go ahead and wrap those up really quickly. Here we go. Hey, who pressed that one? Looking good. All right, Tony, Colby, Andrea on the leaderboard. Go ahead and give them a round of applause from your smiley face menu. The applause. Good job. Very well done. I'm going to go ahead and save these results. But before I do that, I do want to give you guys this information. So if you are someone that did not participate completely in the game, right? So for the most part, as long as you're for the most part you participated, you'll get your credit. But if you did not participate, or if you do ever end up being absent, you do have to complete the alternative assignment. Now the alternative assignment will open at 2 o'clock because I first have to grade for the students who did participate. Okay, so if you did participate, you won't be able to see the alternative assignment because you don't need it. The only people who see it are the people who do need to do it. Smiley faces if that makes sense. Smiley faces if that makes sense. Yeah, it's totally fine, Tariq. Like I said, if you miss a couple of them, it's not the end of the world. I know sometimes we have tech issues. Cool. It is under the content, unit 1, and then the game day alternative assignment. Okay? Cool, guys. Here's your last word. Thanks so much, everyone, and I will see you later. Great game. You guys did awesome. Again, wait until 2 o'clock and you should see that credit in your grade book if you participated. Bye, everyone.